What's going on, people? It's the MMA Mainstream Podcast back again for another year. I'm James, of course, joined by my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, Happy New Year! It's been a
Happy New
minute.
Year. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has, but we're back. We're getting back into the groove. And with us today, we have AJ Perez. AJ is competing on February 3rd on a Friday at Tachi Palace, but under the Uriah Faber A1 Combat promotion. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure. I was like, I had it memorized. And I was like, am I
Yeah.
piecing it together right? For those who know Uriah Faber, of course, California kid, UFC vet, and let's just be real, a legend in California. An MMA legend in general, but mostly California because he's also fought at Tachi Palace. But Tachi Palace is bringing back pro fights. The last time they had pro fights was in 2018. So for those in Central California, that's a big deal because we've always cultivated MMA here in the Central Valley. So it's awesome to have pro MMA back where it should be at Tachi Palace. They've had it forever. So I'm glad it's back. You're going to be taking on Cale Milton.
Yes,
And
sir.
this is your debut fight for both of you guys.
Yeah.
But we're talking to you. Tell us your thoughts on, your previous fight and why you decided to go pro.
Well, my last fight went well. Jason Fonzie's a tough guy, and I felt like we went out there and executed the game plan when I knew he was going to want to take me down, and I wanted to make a statement with stuffing his takedowns, and I feel like I accomplished that. My coaches and me felt the output that I did put out there showed that I can execute a game plan, and I don't know, it all clicked, and then I did plan on doing another amateur fight afterwards, still to get some rust off, and because I had a pretty decent layoff, and I had 2 fights on my return, and I felt good in those fights, but I wanted to do one more. Fighters ended up falling out for different reasons, and just kind of was presented with this opportunity, and I kind of had been already talking to my coaches and my peers, and we kind of knew I was on that that borderline there, and it was just like, what, this is a golden opportunity. This is a game guy. He's good. He's gonna debut as well. Let's get it, man. Let's do it. Why wait?
Now, I know Cale is mostly is really focused on his jiu-jitsu. He does have hands, but mostly a jiu-jitsu guy. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I would. I could confidently say I feel ready for that because my jiu-jitsu isn't. It isn't crazy. I stick to the basics a lot of times with things like that. I believe if you have a strong basic fundamental, you can win and execute. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy. If you can get out of basic situations and have basic control, you'll be okay. So I believe I'm ready for it, to be honest. I'm excited for it. He has hands. He has jiu-jitsu. I got hands. I have jiu-jitsu. So it's going to be fun.
Now, we definitely know you have power in your hands. So I'm excited to see. I'm really excited to see this fight and see where it goes for both of you debuting. What do you think about debuting at Tachi Palace? I mean, for us here in the Central Valley, this place is legendary. This place has created numerous UFC stars and just had phenomenal fights throughout its history. What do you think about that?
Honestly, man, I thought that was amazing. When I first heard about that, like WEC, they used to fight back. I thought it was cool. Maybe not necessarily to be a part of history, as in but to be able to perform in somewhere like that, man, it was just icing on top of the cake. It felt good. It's just like it made it sweeter for me. Like it's like, man, I'm really excited. It amped up the nerves too. To be honest, I'm always a nerve guy. I always got them there. I'm open about it. Why be fake and tell people, oh no, I'm ice cold. Hey, I got nerves, man. Like anybody, we're human. Hey, but I'm excited. I'm very, very much excited.
Now, what do you Like, what do you think? You're going to be getting a paycheck after this. Oh! You fought for free in amateurs for so long, and it's free, and now you're going to get money.
Yeah.
You're starting off, so it clearly isn't going to be too much. But still, man, like, you can't tell me that's not also something to be excited about.
Absolutely, man. It is, especially, you know, my family growing, having my son now, and to have something like my wife and my son to fight for and be able to bring more, whether even if it's just a little extra money to get him some toys or go on a trip, whatever. It's awesome and exciting, the opportunities, or even to have sponsors, which, you know, shout out to my sponsor, Daniel, and then with no weak shit ever. I hope I can say that.
Yeah, but, that's fine here. It's all right with us.
My other sponsor, John, at John Island Ink. You ever want some good, you know, good ink, man? Go hit him up. But it's bringing already awesome opportunities, and like you said, man, to have a check handed to me after, I think it's gonna feel real nice.
That is exciting. Going and people start fighting because they do it because they love it, but never think, you know, oh, I can actually make a. Some people can make a living off of it. It's very hard, but you know, getting paid back for all your hard work, all the money that you put into your gyms and training, and taking time off of like a job to do that, to go exhaust yourself it's crazy that you know, to get a little bit back must be really nice. No matter what the amount is, at least it's something.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a sacrifice. You know, you got to sacrifice a lot of this trips, family occasions, things like that I had to sacrifice because I got to train. You know,
especially the holidays, because you're going to be competing early February. So I imagine your fight camp cut into the holidays too.
Yes, it did, and it definitely did. And it's one of those things, like I said, and I'm blessed to have, you know, my wife's very understanding, and that it is a sacrifice, and it sucks for me personally on a day-to-day because there's a lot of time that I spend away from them, and my son in particular, where I'm gone at work all day, you know, busting my tail there, and then I get home for a couple hours, and I got to bounce again to go train, and I come home, he's asleep, you know, most if not all nights. So it's not easy, but I know it's worth it, and I know I'm gonna make it worth it.
Has anything changed as far as training or obviously schedule, you know, with different jobs and stuff, but has anything changed for you as far as your training routine? Have you gone in a different direction as far as practicing one thing over another?
No, I mean, the only thing that for me, and it's always been there, it's not like it's just up in the ante, you know, not up in the ante, but up in the pace and everything. You know, I want to make sure that I can, especially to going from, let's just say it was 2, maybe even 3-minute rounds, going to 3 5-minute rounds is a big jump that you have to be prepared for. And
that is a big difference.
Yeah.
That's hard enough what it starts out as, but when you think about UFC or Bellator, the time limits is it's insane.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy it's 3 5-minute rounds, you know, because I mean, not to say I wouldn't be ready if it was a 5-minute round fight, but that's something I feel you build up to. I'm excited. I'm very excited because to me that's more. I don't know how to sound, but that's more playtime. You know, let's go have fun. More time.
That's a good way to look at it.
You know, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. That's about it, though. Training wise, you know, I'm staying sharp and trying to be better every day, but conditioning and being ready for those 5-minute rounds is kind of priority.
Yeah. As far as your opponent goes, have you studied him, or do you have any sort of game plan specific for this opponent, or are you just going to go do what you know how to do?
Don't really want to speak too much on game plans too much, but even then, it is kind of at the end of the day, he's another opponent. If I'm the best me, if I'm the best fighter that I can be, I should be able to get the job done. And I will, you know, I have to believe I will get the job done. So I've studied. I've watched him a few times. I can't say studied. I've watched his film a little bit when they shot me his name, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun. He's a game dude. He's tough, and
Yes. He's an exciting fighter, actually, as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I'm excited, because I like to believe I am as well, and I think it's gonna be fireworks, man. I think it's gonna be fun.
Now, are you guys competing at heavyweight?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so probably no weight cutting for you.
No, not so much. If anything, I'm trying to keep my weight on, because when with hard training, a lot of times I tend to shed, but it's not something I feel comfortable at this weight. I want to drop weight in the near future, obviously, because
I was going to ask, do you, since you do lose weight anyways during training, was that has that ever crossed your mind? Go down a weight class and see just how much bigger you are compared to those guys?
No, yeah, definitely. I'm a little guy up here with these guys, because I'm only 5'9". So in the heavyweight, division, you could do it. Don't get me wrong, but why I feel like in some situations I may be putting myself at a disadvantage. In some, because when they get taller and stuff, there's a lot of aspects there. Yeah, they have reach, but they also have to come down to my level. So there's a lot of aspects there that I know I can do it at, this level. I believe I can, and this weight class. But if I can make it, which I have shown in the past, I've cut to middleweight before 182.
Oh, wow.
I think I weighed in. So,
yeah.
And I felt good. I still felt like I carried my strength and my power. Why not? Just be a little bit more disciplined with the diet, and I could fight at middleweight.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much diet can change. Although it does suck for training because you don't have as much energy.
Yeah.
But you got to find that balance and respond appropriately to your body if you think you can do it. I've done that too, where you lose so much weight and you're like, well, I could just fight lighter, although training, like I noticed training was not as much fun because the constant struggle for that energy that's just not there.
Yeah. Yep. You're reaching for something that's not there. You're reaching for fuel that's not there. Yeah. It's but I definitely, though, in the future I wanna drop weight.
That's good.
All right. Now you're going to go pro, and you guys decided to do that. Now, I'm not really sure, but I'm curious, do you just keep the belts that you already won? Like, are you just like, I get to keep these, or do you have to vacate them and give them back?
Certain depends on the organization, and certain ones, like, so most of my belts I got to keep. 5'9", they have, you have to defend it to keep it, or you pay to keep it. And I wasn't, I didn't plan on defending at the time, and so I just gave it back to them. So my other belts I do still have. That's the only one I've had to return.
Isn't that nice, though? Returning a belt because you're going to go do something better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. So I'm excited, man. Those belts, I hold them for a while. I was just like, oh yeah, they're cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of was my mentality for a while. But my coaches and teammates are like, man, you need to, be proud of that. That, that's hard earned. And I do hold those belts now still with pride. But it's kind of like if you're running around as a juvenile, and now you're stepping up, that record goes away. That's the way I see it. It's to the literal sense. It doesn't matter if I was undefeated as an AMI or how many belts I had as an amateur. It's now. So
that's it. You're back at zero.
That's true. That's also crazy. You work so hard for something just for it to get wiped away. Although you are on your way to something else greater, but you're starting at the very, very bottom all over again. No one cares what your record was as an amateur, even though you put in all that hard road work there to get there, just to come across this pro that's already been pro for a while. And it might be one of the toughest fights ever. And your credentials do not matter at that point.
Yep. That's the way the cookie crumbles, man. And then say, there's something I knew. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. And it's just exciting all the way around to be able to say that, you know, and that I have trials and tribulations. I did on the job learning, you know, a lot of, I mean, maybe people know, maybe people don't, but my very first fight was just the backyard boogie with my pop and my brother. And then after that fight, you know, we got a little interest from other gyms and other people, and they're like, hey, come train, maybe get some training in. And that was it. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and the rest is history.
Oh, wow. Have you, now, in between the time of you fighting last, or even in between, think about any jiu-jitsu tournaments or anything like that?
Absolutely. I had to pull out of one I couldn't make it. Some family things came up, and there's certain situations where I'll sacrifice for train, but something like that, like I don't have to. I'll be like, you know what, we'll put that on the back burner. But
yeah,
I definitely plan on pursuing some jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I want to show people my jiu-jitsu. Not a lot of people don't know I have really good jiu-jitsu. I at least I believe I do. So, yeah.
Now, would you do jiu-jitsu? Who do you train under again?
Chino de la Peña.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. That's my professor.
And have you been doing gi, or is it just because you're doing MMA, you've been focused on no gi?
Currently, I haven't been doing gi, and that's not even because I'm doing MMA. That was personally, I haven't been. I lost, I lost my gi over here at home in laundry. I haven't. So, and I got to get more gis this year. Anybody want sponsor with gis?
Hey, sponsors, where are you?
Anybody out there?
You never know what could happen if you just sponsor a gi.
Yeah, man. I mean, I need to get more. I need to acquire more, just so I'm not in the limbo of, oh man, is this one washed or whatever. So, but I prefer no gi too. I love gi, but I just, my roots from wrestling, and I like no gi and just in the compression shirt and stuff. You know,
yeah. I too appreciate gi, but yet I do have a love of no gi. That's where I got a lot of training under. So I completely understand that. And I feel like it's more realistic. I'm not going around in my gi, walking around like, all right, I'm ready for stuff. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like no gi is more.
I mean, it's good because hopefully the person, if anything were to come up, some kind of scuffle in the street, you know, they'll be wearing clothes. So
that's
but
true.
They're not wearing like a thick jacket, like a gi top. Like
yeah.
That's a true statement though, because I've thought about it. I was like, man, if a guy's wearing a sweater, long sleeve sweater, you know, there you go, jeans. Sleeves.
You got
hooks. Yeah, so it is definitely something I believe can translate into the real world. Probably of the martial arts, I'm biased to jiu-jitsu in a real life situation because it could get you out of virtually anything. I mean, obviously, ultimately, run. I mean, I hate to be that way in real life in today's day and age. Dude, don't put your pride and ego, you know, turn and run and seek safety because you want to get home to your family safe.
Because you never know with people nowadays, unfortunately.
Avoid weapons, stuff like that.
Exactly.
But, you know, but it is also, if you already caught in that situation, you know, that the person has a weapon pointed at you or whatever it is, you still have a chance.
Yeah, hey, that's you know, if you have the opportunity to run. But you gotta stick your feet in the dirt and get dirty. That's just the way it is. And some of us have been there in life, and you gotta be ready for it. Be ready for war at all times. That's, you know.
Now, how do your coworkers feel about you fighting? Are they excited? Are they hesitant? Like, what are their thoughts on it?
Yeah, man, the support I've had from my coworkers, even from previous jobs, messaging me, and they're like, it's pretty not overwhelming in a bad way. It's pretty cool, man, to see that. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go, the whole crew, because I used to work at Pepsi, so they're like, oh, the whole Pepsi crew, we're gonna go out there, and I was just like, man, that's cool, man. I appreciate you guys. Hey, I'm gonna do my best to put on a show, man. And they're like, yeah, we know you will, you know. And my coworkers now, just last night, they were like, man, we're all gonna show up. We want to be there in person. I was like, well, you better get your tickets fast because, from my knowledge, they're selling pretty quick. So,
especially with this fight organization, it's got to be huge.
Yeah.
I want to be going to these. It's kind of like a trip down memory lane. Tachi Palace fights are really fun. I don't know. I really just had the time of my life when that was going on. It was so much fun. It was as real as it gets, really. And
that's an old UFC catch tagline. So you don't want to be throwing that around too much.
What?
As real as it gets. So, hey UFC, don't mind that.
There you go.
Yeah, change it. Yeah, tweak a word in there, and then there you go.
That's it. Then you're set.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those fights were really fun. They aren't, Lemore's not that far. It's a casino. It's great. I can't wait for those fights to come back, and them being pro. It's even better because you know that these are the guys that are going to be feeding into, UFC, Bellator, stuff like that. So that's really great.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. God willing, and I wish all fighters prosperity and health and just have fun, man. Because I know how much I love this, and I could only imagine everyone else doing it. They love it just as much, if not more. So,
and this is great. Your opponent is having his debut as well, right?
Yep.
So that's as even slate as it gets for a debut. That's really great.
Yeah, that's why I said it's an awesome opportunity for both of us to go out there and showcase our skill sets, and at the end of the day, the better man's going to win, and that's just the way it is. It's going to be fun. As I'm excited, man. I'm really, really excited.
Now, my question, I don't know, you guys have signed contracts already because you agreed to fight. Now, with Uriah Faber's promotion, is it a one-fight deal, or do you have so many fights under contract with them?
As of now, it was just the one fight, I believe, to my knowledge. I mean, I didn't read anything with multi-fight, so I think that's something they eventually do or decide to do, because I did see recently a few fighters signed multi-fight deals, but that was after they fought a couple times for him, I believe. So I don't know, to be honest, the ins and outs. I can't speak to this. Is just off of my observations and what I've seen. So for now, this is just a one-fight contract that I signed.
Now, let's just jump ahead after the fight. Are you staying the night at the casino, or are you just going to head home?
I'm headed home. Yeah, definitely going to head home, see my boy and stuff, and I'm not going to hang tight. It's not really my scene.
Completely understand that. Because that was one thing.
I remember having the greatest time at that casino.
I don't gamble. Yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah.
Well, I gambled barely anything. It was still fun, though.
Yeah, definitely seems like a fun place.
When you're leaving and you're just like, all right, well, what's done is done. I'm heading out. And then you would just see all the fighters out there mingling and stuff. I'm really excited for you to be competing and making your debut at Tachi Palace, because that's going to be phenomenal.
A big deal. I think that's a really big deal. That's great.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's what I tell you. I'm very, very blessed and thankful for this opportunity, and I look forward to optimizing every bit of it. I want to use this platform, and I've always wanted to build my platform to spread positivity all the way around. Like I like to consider myself a half a glass full type of guy. I want to try and be positive in this world that can be so negative at times. So
I understand that. All right. Well, do you have any sponsors you want to shout out?
At the moment, just the two. I have John at Island Inc. I wish I had his logo on me right here. Well, and Daniel with No Weak Shit Ever, man. I appreciate you guys, and I'm open to more.
Daniel needs to hook me up with a shirt, and also used to work for Pepsi, and Pepsi needs to hook you up.
Yeah,
you have Pepsi as a sponsor. That'd be awesome.
That would be dope, man. But yeah,
I know. Where's that sponsor at, man? That'd be the biggest sponsor ever. My
Right?
gosh.
You're all,
Yeah, that's great.
You wear a Pepsi shirt. You're all, is it okay if I have my no weak shit ever with it? Does that work?
I don't know if
Yeah.
Pepsi would like that, but
There'd probably be some guidelines there I'd have to follow, but hey,
You're all right. I'll wear the Pepsi shirt, but it's going on the trunks.
yeah. No, it's I'm open to sponsors. I don't want to push it too close though, because I would like to get logos and things situated on shorts. If anybody and if you do want to hit me up, I have my Instagram. Shoot, I don't even know it off the top of my head, honestly.
well,
I mean, you're just debuting. We'll get you on that social media train. We're pushing it. We'll get you there.
Yeah, I'm building. Hey, every day I'm trying to build to be a better me.
That's it. That's all you can do. AJ, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time, and we look forward to seeing you fight on February 3rd, Friday night at Tachi Palace Casino. The fights are Uriah Faber's
A1 Combat.
Thank you. I needed that. And we look forward to it. AJ, have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
All righty. Thanks, James. Thank you, Kaelyn. You guys have a great day.
You too, man.
All right.
Oh, all right. That was awesome. Look forward to that, especially because like me and you have talked about
excited
it before, so,
for these.
We know both of these fighters. We're very excited to see this go on and have this happen. There was some other stuff going on in the world of MMA that we will discuss, of course, because that's what we do.
Aside from actual fights.
Yeah. You know what? Actual fights weren't really even going on. It was just
I feel so empty inside for the last. I'm like, something in my life is missing, even though you're dealing with holidays and busy and all that. But like, really, when I think it was last weekend, didn't do much. So, you're bored and you're like, I feel like something should be going on and it's not. And it was UFC. There's no fights going on. So I remember during the holidays, I'm like, man, holidays are over, but where's like what happened to real life? I feel like it's different, and until those fights come back on, it'll be normal again.
Seriously, but
I really felt like that. I mean, and this weekend especially.
We're taking some time off from fights, but there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. I didn't bring up the story, but yet we could discuss it. Dana White and his wife.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Was there a video of that?
I've heard there was. I didn't have a chance to find one, but
I haven't seen it.
Dude, what the heck?
Well, but I want to see what actually happened because I hear two very different things. So,
well, they were both very apologetic. And who knew that Dana White would make his fight debut in an intergender fight? Come on.
That and slapping.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess he's into that.
I mean, he's been promoting that a lot with the slap
terrible
stuff on TBS.
I forgot to mention this, and I'm glad you brought that up because this whole power slap thing that's going on, I don't like it at all.
Really? I'm so entertained by it. I love crazy stuff. And this
makes me sad inside. It makes me sad that I just feel okay. So, with UFC, Dana White's all about protection and healthy, and our refs are there for a reason.
Side of each other. Yeah.
Where it's like now you're sponsoring something where people will hit each other, but you cannot protect yourself. And they just get floored. Like it feels gross to me a little bit. I understand that it's entertaining, but like that, I don't like very much. I think it's
where
dumb.
You're coming from, but
I think the majority of people think it's dumb.
I think the Running Man would be awesome.
I read those comments on the power slap thing, and I won't watch it. But I click on the comments because I know people agree with me, and they do. Majority of it is like, oh, please get this off of my TV. Dana, what are you doing? This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, I agree. So I'm not the only one that thinks that. But I don't know. I think it was a really bad move on his part because I don't see that being popular. I don't see it being anywhere near something like UFC. I just don't like it.
I don't think it'll never be as popular as the UFC because I don't think he'll put forth the effort to make it as popular as the UFC, but yet it does have its own audience.
you're always going to have an audience and people get hurt for sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if barbaric's too strong of a word for it, but when they were trying to go through when MMA was evolving, and I think it was Big John McCarthy was literally in court trying to defend the sport to get permits to do it, and everyone is saying how barbaric it was. And I guess back in the day it would seem like that, people that don't know about it, but now how professional it's gotten is really great. But it was all based on, this is a martial art, this is a sport where you can protect yourself. It's based on your skill.
You're not just taking blows.
It's how to protect yourself and fight back. But this, you're literally, you might as well tie their hands behind their back, and now they're just taking hits, and I don't like that at all. I don't like it.
I completely understand that, and MMA has come a long way since those days. That's for sure.
Well, I know, and I feel like it's just a huge step back to, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm actually very surprised that Dana White would do something like that. But
I want to know how that pitch went to get him in. Like, check it out. Two people stand in front of each other.
He seems he loves it. He loves it. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, I just don't get it. You never know a person, but I didn't think that he would be all in with something like that. And I don't know what his intention was. I don't know if he thought that it was going to be big, like UFC or something like that. I don't think it ever will be.
I don't think it will ever be UFC big.
And I don't think he's that dumb, which I'm confused,
But that's what we think about.
That could just be my opinion, though. People could feel completely otherwise. And
I enjoy it. I enjoy it, but I understand your stance in that you can't defend yourself. You're sitting there absorbing a blow like that, and it's messed up.
Where's the skill? You're pretty much punching the person open-handed.
No, you know how hard you have to slap somebody to get that reaction?
There's people
like the
falling over
slap,
left and right. It's not good. It's not good at all. I don't like it. I hope it goes away.
I imagine it will come and go. But for now, I'm going to enjoy it. I just think it's really interesting that Dana White and his wife got into it at a New Year's party. They were both intoxicated from what I understand of the story. And they decided to be like, let's promote it. Slap the shit out of each other.
Was that their promo video? I mean, I don't know. I really do want to see the video of what kind of altercation happened there. But I guess, so what I heard is that she slapped him first and he slapped her back.
He responded.
I don't know. And I don't know how hard it was, but there's some fighters that made the argument like that they were on Dana's side.
Sean O'Malley being one of them.
I bet she was being
the most notables.
I bet people get crazy, and I have to see the video, but I'm assuming girls get crazy. They hit guys when they're mad or whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, obviously you should not hit a woman, no matter what.
Not at all.
But what do you do what do you do, as a guy? I know, do you just take it and just
defend yourself? Don't hit back.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like that's the most proper thing. Like, clearly
I get it.
A woman, but
I saw some people backing Dana White on this whole thing. I want to know what actually happened. If his wife apologized, they were both probably in the wrong. So who knows?
Well, they did admit to being intoxicated. They're having a little bit too much, tying them on.
It's not a good look for Dana, but I think this is going to blow over like nothing. It's nothing. It's just people are mad. People are talking out about
charges were pressed.
People are talking out about ESPN not saying anything about it. It's like, who cares? Dana White's in the fight business. Leave him alone.
He's like, why do you think I did it? I know what I'm talking about.
He's like, I'm such a fan of power slapping now. Let's do this.
Right. He's like, I got my wife into it. See? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to we got some info about Jake Paul, your favorite. He's tired of fighting old guys, which he had said in the previous story. And now he's going to be competing in MMA, signing a multi-year deal with
Wow. That's impressive. I like that.
Yeah, he's finally stepping up to the plate and competing in MMA.
Well, there you go. Now, I don't know what his contract is. I mean, this guy doesn't do MMA, but now he's signed and has super fight deals. So where are the rules here on this guy? Obviously, there probably isn't any, but what direction is this going in? Is he going to fight legit fighters, or is he going to pick and choose what he wants? And
I think it's the name that they're bringing in. It says here he will be competing in both boxing and MMA.
okay,
I believe he'll probably fight in PFL for MMA while still competing in with the Triller promotion for boxing. But yeah, what kind of opponents are we going to see? Are we going to see brand new fighters that are just fed to him? Or are we going to see guys that have maybe
I feel like they have to have a name first.
margin of experience? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger fight if you have a guy with some name recognition.
But PFL, interesting choice, right? So
Very
PFL,
much.
Out of, and I know UFC probably wouldn't sign him. Why not Bellator or
Well, he doesn't have any MMA experience, and I do feel like PFL is still fresh enough that they could take somebody like him who has no real experience, has the name value, and can turn something around from it.
I guess PFL would be that organization to do it. I mean, you see Clarissa Shields, who was, and I'm not comparing the records of her and Jake Paul, but she was just a boxer, no MMA experience.
Came in with a level
and did quite well. She did okay. And then, so maybe PFL is just open to that whole boxing world of bringing them over.
Yeah.
It had to have been a good deal. It had to have been a good deal for him to take it. So.
Oh, it has to be.
Now, just want to see who he's going to fight,
Yeah. Well, he's certainly not going to fight Logan. That's for sure. That's too bad. I think if they had brother versus brother, I'd be entertained.
You know what? I could stand Logan. I don't like Jake Paul very much.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to have Logan versus Jake. That's personal opinion. But that you're also talking to the guy who was like, I want to see Ken fight Frank Shamrock. That was always a fight I thought would be badass. But that's personal.
I don't want to see brothers fight, though, I don't know.
You know what? The animosity between Frank and Ken, though, I don't know if they still have it, but that they had, that would have made for a phenomenal fight. The trash talk between them. Oh,
that would have been great.
That would have sold lots of pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But that time is gone.
I don't know. You never know. It could be leading up to that. You never know with these two guys. Like, they're always going to do whatever grabs the most attention. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to that. I don't know. They're all about publicity and stuff. So I wouldn't at theirs. They love each other. It's not like it'd be real, but they would. I feel like they definitely would get to that point.
Well, because
ultimately one of those guys has to lose that fight.
True, unless it's a majority draw. It could be a draw. You never know.
That
would suck, though. There's no timeline for Paul's debut, so we still will have time before it is figured out who he's going to compete against and when.
But it's signed, I guess, right?
He's there. He's under their umbrella to compete, so we'll see what happens. I imagine they've already got people in the works, like ideas, to get something going pretty quick. So we shall see.
Very interesting.
So also discussing just craziness in the world of mixed martial arts, we're going to go through the gamut today and discuss these things. Phil Baroni, UFC veteran. For some of you younger fans, he was somebody I watched a lot when I was younger. So he's 46 and he has been arrested by Mexican authorities after allegedly assaulting and killing his girlfriend. First of all, what up? That is bananas to me.
I mean, I guess you don't know a person,
Baroni competed professionally in MMA for almost 2 decades, from 2000 to 2019. He had the moniker the New York Badass, and he competed in UFC, Pride, Bellator. He competed everywhere. He had a record of 16 and 19, trained at AKA. the dude fought some of the, as it says in the story from MMA Junkie, he fought some of the biggest names of the era, including Frank Shamrock, who we just mentioned earlier, Evan Tanner, Matt Lindeland, Dave Monet. Just whoa! Like, I hope this isn't the case. I hope he didn't do this, but you never know. Like, I don't even know what he was up to now. Yeah, don't even know.
I don't
what
know.
he was doing. What was he doing in Mexico? Was he working?
Does he live there? I mean,
yeah. What's going on, dude? Yeah, there's that.
Crazy. I like how we hear this news after the fact that she got killed and not that.
Yeah, and not
I don't
before.
know. It's a little late here, but I don't to know exactly what happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
And then we have another unfortunate story that involves crime. Former UFC fighter Ken Carzoza arrested after allegedly, it says allegedly, beating woman into convulsions. Ken Carzoza, for those that are in the Central California area, he trained out of Visalia for quite some time and made it to the UFC. And at time of the story, he was arrested by police in Utah for second-degree aggravated assault, second-degree robbery, and third-degree domestic violence in the presence of a child. This is not good.
No.
And it's never okay. But man, like, I remember this dude when he was coming up, and he was the bee's knees. Given we all have personal problems, but man, come on, guys.
I don't know.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the dirty part of this sport, is where you get people that this is a violent sport, so you can get people that don't participate in violence outside of the sport. But also there are guys in the sport because that's all they do.
True. That's the most valid point I've actually heard from anybody. So I'll give you that. But unfortunately, he's locked up, right? As far as I know, he's locked up, according to the story. But
oh gosh, sounds bad.
That's too bad. I did forget to mention, talking about fighters that trained in Visalia, I forgot to mention this, so we'll kind of segue to something positive before we go back to negative.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we still got a lot of negative left.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. The Tachi Palace is starting a Hall of Fame, which I think is amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're gonna have Doug Marshall involved.
Yeah.
Papis Martinez, and I don't know why I'm blanking on the other person that's supposed to be involved.
I didn't know.
Faber. That's it.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, right. He's having a promotion. Let's put him in the Hall of Fame. So they're the inductees to the Hall of Fame.
He's in the UFC Hall of Fame, is he not?
I want to say yes, but regardless, there's a reason why he's the California kid. That
right.
Faber competed everywhere. But I'm so happy to see that Tachi Palace, which I discussed earlier with AJ, really laid the foundation and the groundwork for MMA in the Central Valley. And so for them to finally start a Hall of Fame, I think is phenomenal. And I really look forward going forward to see who they put in, because there are so many fighters that you would have never thought competed at Tachi, either under the WEC brand, the Palace Fighting Championships brand, or the Tachi Palace Fights Championship brand to be inducted.
Yeah, so I'm wondering who is on the list of being inducted and what criteria is it? I mean, obviously, Hall of Fame, it means your career is almost over or over. Who are they choosing from? You know, because you only have so many.
Really valid question. I'd really like to know the answer, because I feel like my thinking is it would be the criteria of they competed there for any promotion that has fought at the casino or on the reservation, wherever they had fights here and there. So I think
you're gonna have guys that have already gone to UFC and made great for themselves also. So are those the guys they're looking for to induct, or maybe just for that promotion specifically? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Is it just fighters? Because I have so many ideas of ways they can
Yeah.
bring
There's a lot of
bring people
categories for
in.
the UFC Hall of Fame. So I wonder, this is great. This is good. And I like that this is the closest thing, I think, to those UFC fighters, really. This promotion could be being how Tachi Palace was and operated and all those guys that came out of it. I feel like this is just like a resurrection of that, and hopefully even greater. These guys from 559 are going to have a lot of opportunity to go there because that's one of the biggest promotions here. It's pretty close. So just like the person we just talked to, AJ, today, he's now moving up into that. I feel like that's where all the 559 champions are going to go, I think.
Eventually, I feel like a lot of them are on that trajectory to make it there.
I'm so glad we have this promotion middle ground between UFC, Bellator, all those big ones, PFL, from amateur. Like we have that bridge again.
Finally, yes, because the last fight I had mentioned was in 2018, so I'm glad it's back as a bigger regional promotion. Because let's be real, it is a regional promotion, but yet it holds enough stock that it is looked at by the bigger companies, Bellator, UFC, just to name those.
Especially just Uriah Faber's name alone on it is big.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I can't wait for these fights. These are going to be great. They're going to be exciting.
I'm curious to see. So they're going to do a Hall of Fame, but I don't know if. Okay, so for the UFC, I don't know if they actually have an area that is like the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I just haven't seen it. I haven't noticed it or even really researched it. But what I mean by that is like you have, for example, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These are museums that are erected to show the past, to show the history. Would they dedicate a certain area to have their Hall of Fame fighters or their Hall of Fame, like just even if it's just a picture and a quick excerpt about their life or their history and how come they're in the Hall of Fame? I think that would be amazing to go as a fight fan and a fan of things that have happened at Tachi and just a Tachi fan to go over there and be able to see that visually. I would love that. I'd love to go visit that and to see what they add to it. If they,
see local restaurants and places will have, someone's shorts up there in a frame,
Are you referring to Doghouse?
Doghouse, Buffalo Wild Wings has them up there. 500 Club has them up there. So, maybe items such as those can go in an appropriate place where they belong. Maybe not a museum, but an area in that.
Just something so you have something
keep them
visual
safe.
to look at.
Yeah, something that can be contributed. I have a feeling the list is going to grow so much.
I've already got this. When I heard about the Hall of Fame, I already had a short list of, not really short, but a list of people that you could automatically just throw in there. But there are more people that not necessarily fighters, but contributed to what we know of as MMA in Central California.
And the great thing is that it's in California. Like we're one of the biggest states. All the attraction is here. You have big fights in LA, San Diego, up north, San Jose. Bellator is always up there in San Jose. It's a good active state.
That's their home, or it was. MMA. I don't know anymore.
Right, but Lemoore is like that connecting ground where it's not that far from either, and I think that's good. I think it'll get a lot of attention. I hope it does well. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that exists.
It's going to take place during the fights on February 3rd. So I look forward to hearing about that. I'm so proud to see these guys that I've watched so many of their wars take place, that they are finally getting the recognition that they should.
Yeah.
Even though it's on a regional basis, still like they're finally being recognized for these accolades, with Doug Marshall being inducted.
Perfect choice too. I mean, that's exactly the type of fighters you're looking at that were around for so long, just because, UFC took off and now has all of the fighters.
Right.
But there's still those guys that started this whole thing, that it would not be what it is without those guys. So those guys should be recognized, even though if they didn't make it in UFC, never became champion, but man, they were the ones that put those paved the road to even have something like UFC, because those guys are the ones that are coaching kids today.
Yep.
Locally. You have Doug Marshall who's coaching a lot of
So many
amateur
fighters.
all these fighters. You have there's a lot of people here in California, a lot of pro fighters that are now coaching, that are feeding their fighters into these kind of promotions because they're familiar, and it's, I don't know, I think it's good. I'm so glad they did this. So
Same. And that's why also Poppies Martinez,
of course,
homegrown talent. Hell yeah. I look forward to when
I remember his walkouts. Those are pretty cool.
Oh, if they did
it
that,
was something to be there to see that.
I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know if they're just going to have him come in the cage, wave to people.
I don't know.
I'm fully okay. Let's be real. This is where my WWE mind is, my wrestling mind's coming in, because they do a Hall of Fame. When they do it, they actually have a night dedicated to inducting them into the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
and
okay.
they're allowed to, they have somebody introduce them, and it's usually somebody that's close to them, and then the person comes out if they're still alive, because they do people that have passed on.
Yeah.
And they talk about their career and their life briefly, and there you go. It's like an entire event to itself. I would lose it if Tachi ever did that. I think that would be amazing. I would love to attend that, because I would
maybe just like even the night before you have some big fights.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah. And it could be like even a 2-hour event. It doesn't have to be this grand thing, but if you continue to do that to help it grow, I think that would be amazing. And I'd love to see.
I mean, looking at UFC, they will, during the fights, they will announce who is inducted, which is great. Yes. But then they have their whole ceremony. I don't know when is it July that they do that in Vegas?
I want to say
it's fight week.
It's around their fight week. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. They're big enough to do that. They can have a whole night for that. But yeah, I'm curious to see I have a feeling it'll be mixed in with the fights, but I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I think it definitely will, because it's the first class to go in.
Yeah, first class. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, that would be great. That's awesome.
So congrats to them for making it to being in the Hall of Fame at Tachi Palace. That's amazing. I look forward to who else goes in afterwards, but for those three, I think it's a good accolade, because it was the building blocks of where we are now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's very exciting.
Now, let's see. Unfortunately, we do have some terrible news to report that we're going to try and get out of the way real quick. Some stuff that happened while we were on our break for Christmas and New Year's. And let me go ahead and pop that up for us. Tanner Marlowe, 4-0 LFA prospect, was killed in a Christmas Eve double homicide.
Gosh.
That's unfortunate. He's up and coming.
4-0. Gosh.
Yep.
Damn it.
And he fought for LFA. LFA has been in Central California quite a bit, coming through Visalia. And
yeah, LFA is great.
Exactly. And this happened in Bakersfield. And unfortunately, he was at a home. Let's see. According to ABC TV 23 in Bakersfield, the result of shooting between two resulted in Marlowe's death, as well as Jacob Marlena. So I believe it says Marlena forced his way into the home where his estranged girlfriend lived. Marlowe was there, and it resulted in the double homicide. So that's awful. I mean, MMA is already crazy enough, and the guy was just essentially wrong place, wrong time.
Who knows what that situation was, but I mean, ugh.
And then we have another unfortunate death to report. One championship rising star Victoria Lee dead at 18. This is hard.
This is weird. There's so many questions that there's nothing really out where
we have not been informed of the cause of death.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate like everybody else online.
Hopefully something comes up, because this is crazy.
Yes. Hopefully something does. but I'm not going to speculate like everybody has online.
But there's no info to even speculate on. I don't know where anyone's getting their info.
People just jump to conclusions. That's all they're doing. They're grasping at straws.
There are those, but when there's no info, it's like, well, what do you do?
The end result is a up-and-coming fighter at 18. Gone.
There's got to be something big going on behind that. That's too young. An athlete also?
Yeah.
I just wonder what happened, Obviously, I mean, you know how our previous story, there was a crime. It was a crime. This has no info of crime, or maybe it was a health issue. I don't know.
That's what it sounds like is a health issue.
Gotta be, I guess.
That's what it sounds like, but we don't know. And so until we do, we just know that she has passed on, and it's so sad.
God, that is so crazy. 18. Yeah. An athlete at 18. Just like, what happened,
Very much so. But let's try to end on a higher note.
Do we have one?
I saved this story for last just because I'm like, we
literally went through like 3 domestic violence, homicide.
We went through crazy stuff. All right. You've watched The Ultimate Fighter. We've discussed that many times on this show.
Yeah.
You remember Kendall Grove?
No.
I'm done.
I don't remember.
Kendall Grove was on The Ultimate Fighter, and he is competing again. He retired a while back. And let's see, it's been over 3 years since UFC alumnus Kendall Grove has stepped into an MMA cage, but he's going.
That's why I don't know who that is. Over 3 years.
And you watched The Ultimate Fighter, like that took place like a decade ago.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of guys.
And you don't know who Kendall Grove is? Anyways, he's going to be competing January 21st in Poland. I don't know why they were like, all right, check this out. I got this idea. I know we're fighting in Poland, but I got this idea to bring this guy in, okay? He competed in Hawaii. He competed for the UFC. He's a UFC vet. I know we can get him. I want to know what the thinking was on bringing Kendall Grove in. I don't mind Kendall Grove's game, but why him?
I don't know.
You get where I'm going with this, right? You get my thinking behind it. Like really? All right, let's get him. Let's go for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he fought in bare knuckle too. So
yes, he did. That's also what it's referenced when he finished Hector Lombard.
He got finished by Hector Lombard.
He got by. I think I stand corrected. Finished by Hector Lombard in 110 seconds. Wow, I feel like y'all could break that down. Like that's almost 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, okay. Well, Ultimate Fighter Season 3, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You expect me to remember that? I don't think so.
We talked about the first one like it happened 2 days ago. And by the way,
there's a
Stephen
difference.
Bonner's passing.
Did we talk
I didn't even think about that until right now. No, we haven't discussed that yet.
What is this show of death today? What is this?
It really is. We're catching up, and the years are apparently catching up with us. That's another.
Oh my goodness! And what happened with him though? Anything? Any info? Did he have a heart condition?
He was a health problem. Is what led to his passing? Yes.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What is?
Hey, you're gonna die from either being super healthy or being unhealthy. It doesn't matter.
I guess, but I just feel like in the world of MMA, it's a lot right now.
It has been. It's been quite a bit. You're right.
Just crazy, and Stephen Bonner. Obviously, everybody knows who that is. Not everybody knows who Victoria Lee is. Only if you're in the world of one championship.
If you're really into it, yes.
Which is growing. It's just crazy to lose those people, especially at once or within the time, short time span. Crazy. And then you got Kane's thing going on, who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless, is, a lot is going on at this time, but I remember Evan Tanner, when he passed, it was a really weird thing with him because it was so out of nowhere. And I mean, death usually is out of nowhere, but it was like, holy cow, this guy, this dude was like this awesome badass, and he's gone. That was a shock to a lot of people. It just seems like it's happening so much more now.
For different reasons, yeah.
Cool. Very true.
Yeah. I don't know. That Victoria Lee is crazy.
It is, especially because
I can't wait for something to come out on it. I wonder what it is. I don't know.
It's shocking because she's so young.
But also people have things going on that they don't talk about, like Stephen Bonner, who knew that he had an issue. And then
apparently people did know that he had health problems, but nobody was really talking about it.
God, athletes. And I know this has nothing to do with UFC or MMA, but that Buffalo Bills football player literally almost died on the field.
That was nuts. I was at work during that, and I was like, all my years being on this earth, I've never heard about a situation happening like that.
I mean,
it hasn't happened, but it was wow.
Getting hit, I guess the cause is from getting hit in the chest so hard.
It was that sweet spot. It was that time, that moment. It's because it was explained.
I've heard a lot of explanations on it.
And it was his heart, like, I forgot if it was good, like pumping or
at the right second.
It was just hit. That's it. It was that sweet spot and put him down.
And I forget how long.
All the MMA we've seen, I've never seen a fighter have that happen to him.
You know, that you could argue that there could have been, and I don't think anyone ever even thinks about this anymore, when they pulled Robert Whittaker out of his fight and like the night before because he had a stomach issue. But literally, if he went and fought and got hit in the right spot in the stomach, he could have actually died from it rupturing and becoming septic and stuff like that. So
just the thought is crazy.
Yeah, so wild stuff does go on there. But and I forgot how long they said about I'm sorry, what was his name? The football player, DeMar? Is it DeMar?
I want to say yes. I
could be so wrong.
We could just refer to him as the Buffalo Bills player because we're an MMA show. We don't.
And I could be mixing my stories up, but I feel like he was without oxygen for a very long time.
Yes.
So it's great that he has brain activity going on still, like he's communicating in his ways that he can. So
Damar Hamlin.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's crazy. And it's crazy to see athletes have issues, health issues, because man, and Damar's case was a freak accident, but man, I don't know, it's crazy. And I wonder what happens to him afterwards. I mean, obviously you would stop, right?
He's still in the hospital. He's awake. He's conscious. He's made statements already. So he is
regarding your career, though. What do you do?
He's recovered. Yeah, no, that's a very valid point.
I know that's way far ahead for someone to think about, but I mean, you would think it's.
But you do have to think about the big picture.
Yeah. Oof, that's scary.
Yeah.
Too much tragedy in the last 3 weeks. Jeez.
Well, welcome to 2023. Haha.
It's not starting off good because but what was it? When did Kobe pass? It was 2020. He passed on my birthday, which was at the end of January. So it kind of started off the year kind of funky. So
see, so ever since he's passed, it's just been shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It has.
Well, hopefully in 2023, we could bring you guys some more positive news, some phenomenal fights, regionally and nationally. So we look forward to bringing you guys that this year. It sucks ending on such a low note.
Well, there were so many of them. There were so many stories.
It was a lot.
That whole Victoria Lee came out not that long ago. A couple days ago.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah.
So we look forward to bringing you better stories as they happen, and we will bring you.
See what happens when there's no fights.
Yeah, fight more. UFC, UFC. You need to have a fight on New Year's.
We need to fill in that gap on the holidays. Like, give us something.
That's it. So Thank you for joining us today, guys. And we will see you next time with fights, because that's what we talk about. We're the MMA Mainstream Podcast. That's what we do. And we will talk about fights next time because the UFC is gearing up to be back in action. And we will talk about that. We won't worry about this other stuff. That's all behind us now.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you guys next time.